Hello parents, family, friends. We're just presenting you with a highlight of a really awesome lesson that Mr. Kaiser and I did this past week. It's called a chalk talk. And Mr. Kaiser, what's a chalk talk?
So a chalk talk is a silent way to generate ideas, check on learning, solve problems, and just formulate ideas about certain different aspects of, in this case, philosophy. So what we did was we looked at 4 middle-aged philosophers. And what the students do is they come up to the board, there's no talking aloud, and the first group writes a question. Now, as students come up, it kind of starts to flow, and they answer those questions again with comments, and then more questions. And eventually we spread out through the whole board, and we have a great idea of how these philosophers thought and kind of what the students' opinions are on matters.
So the students are having a dialogue without actually talking, and they're explaining these concepts. So in a minute, we're going to show you actually some of the school of thought. Mr. Kaiser is going to take you through our 4 different philosophies that we examined today. Looking at it and think about everything, you know, beginning with St. Augustine. What happens 80 years later after 426? I heard someone say it. Very good. The collapse of the Roman Empire. So you almost have a timeline of thought from the fall of the Roman Empire to really 1323. We're getting into the early Renaissance.
So our first medieval philosopher is St. Augustine. Now St. Augustine, this is from his City of God work, and he highlights the importance of God, religion, prayer, and kind of to live rightly. It's all about religion and kind of what he believes in. Next, Boethius. Now Boethius is similar to St. Augustine, roughly 100 years later, 524, and his work is all about kind of the human soul and when it is more free in the mind of God and kind of less free when it's attached to the body. Following Boethius, we have St. Thomas Aquinas. Now St. Thomas Aquinas, this is roughly 500 or 600 years later. Thomas Aquinas takes on questions of actually science and logic. We move past religion and God, and we focus more on kind of the science and how he ranks science with faith and with religion. And finally, William of Ockham. Now William of Ockham is similar to Thomas Aquinas, and what he does is looks at logic and how it's useful to not only the arts but other aspects of culture, and why logic is really important. And that sums it up.